She doesn't even go here.
I'm bi, actually.
Excuse me. Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Hi, I'm Kurt Homo, and I'll be auditioning for the role of kicker.
Hello! Welcome in, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of Not So Straight Nerds. I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And we are finally back.
Yay!
So sorry. January was a little bit crazy. We were watching stuff, but we were not making stuff because we had so much going on. This episode, we're looking at a bit of a recap. This is going to be everything we watched in January and focusing on some of the new releases. Alicia. Yeah.
Oh, I was going to say, we had a lot. I promise it was valid. We were very busy in January. We even got behind on watching stuff, to be honest, for a hot second. But we're caught up now, and so we're trying to catch up podcast-wise. Just kind of, it is a January recap, but it's probably going to be a little bit longer, I'm guessing. We are probably not going to make specific videos on movies that came out. We're just going to have discussions in this video. So it is what it is. We had a snowstorm. We had a bachelor party. We had a wedding.
Hey.
Congratulations! He has a new name. Well, no, he's still Luke, but he has a new last name.
I'm Carl now.
Carl, that kills people. Yeah. So we had some stuff going on. So yeah, we're back now. It's great. We are caught up on watching stuff actually. So feels nice. There was a lot of stuff to watch, but I feel like we actually got through it pretty quickly.
I agree.
So, anyways. Yeah.
Alrighty, so there's a lot to talk about. Just real quick, how are the vibes over there?
Oh, they're good. I'm excited to film. It's been a long time, so I feel like I'm a little bit out of my element, but I'm excited. So I may not be, I don't know. I don't even know the word, and that kind of, explains it well. So we'll see. We'll get warmed up by the end of this video. So, yeah.
No, absolutely. It feels almost a little weird to come back here after being like literally over a month since we've been in here. But I'm very excited. There's a lot that I want to talk about. Obviously, there's so much to talk about that we'll have to give just like little pieces on some of the smaller things. But I'm very excited to start throwing some of those thoughts out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
alrighty, let's go ahead and get started. First, we are going to be ranking the January new releases that we have seen.
Yeah.
So on my list, I had 13.
I had 10. And you know what? I want to shout out January because usually I feel like January specifically is usually known as a pretty rough month for movies. And I'm looking at my list, and 7 out of my 10 are at least 3 out of 5 stars. And that's pretty good. So there's like 5, 8 out of 10s on here or up. So that's pretty good.
I agree. Like January this time last year was brutal.
I mean, we've had, I don't know, Wolfman I think was probably worse than the worst one on my list.
I agree.
So, yeah, we're already starting off better. I know a lot of people are saying 2026 is going to be a big year, and it is. There's a lot of blockbusters coming out, but there's also, just a lot of, like, not blockbusters that are good.
I agree. I will say it still feels like a January month, but it feels like if this is a January month of this year, then it feels like we're in for a pretty good year.
Yeah, absolutely. February has some interesting movies coming out, but I'm excited for a lot of those too. Same with March. March is going to have a lot of hopefully really good movies. So I'm not really worried. I think this year is starting off pretty well, and I'm excited to talk about it.
Absolutely. So, do you want to get us started with your number 10?
Did you want to shout out your
I will
three
go
first?
You're so right.
Yeah.
So I had 13. We're doing our top 10. The bottom 3 that didn't make my list. At the bottom I have Primate. At 12 I have The Big Fake. And at 11 I have Follow My Voice.
Yeah, I didn't see the Follow My Voice one.
Yeah, that's I don't know.
I guess I didn't need to.
No,
it's
it's like aggressively. It's close to average, but it's just
I I've been watching a lot of shows this month. That's been my thing. I've still watched a lot of movies, but most of these that are not new releases are like from early January or late December. So, yeah, I haven't really been into movies as much lately. So, oh well. We'll get back to it. I have phases.
Surely.
Yeah. Anything
Oh,
else
sure.
you have? I don't know. Oh, I can go. I
Go
don't
ahead.
know.
Go ahead.
Okay. So my number 10 is also Primate, my bottom one. It was as I expected. I'm gonna be so real. It honestly didn't like break my expectations one way or another. I had the expectations going into it that it wasn't gonna be good, and it wasn't. So,
Well said.
at least it didn't disappoint me.
I
I don't
felt
know.
like there had to be something more to it. I understand some people really enjoy its like practical effects.
Sure.
And I can appreciate a couple of them for sure. But
Yeah.
it's just so like
It's still a
Uh.
bad movie. Oh, but I can't. I will say the only thing that I was conflicted with. I'll say this because I was gonna say disappointed with. I forgot his name, but there's an actor from the movie Coda, that's great, and pretty sure he's the one who won the Oscar from that movie.
okay.
I think. How do you have an Oscar-winning actor in your film and you don't advertise that? Like, I didn't know he was gonna be in it. A lot of people didn't know he was gonna be in it, and then I found out he was gonna be in it, and I'm like, why am I kind of excited if nothing else to see him? So that's why my feelings are conflicted there, because like I'm excited for him, but I'm disappointed in the lack of marketing of him. So, anyway.
Well said. My number 10, crazy mention. I have Cheetahs
Oh.
Up Close. What was his name? With Bertie Gregor.
Okay.
It was on Disney Plus. It's a little quick nature doc about cheetahs.
Okay.
Yeah, crazy thing to add to this list. I was truly looking for anything that was being released in January.
Sure.
And I found it.
Okay.
But it's cute. Bertie Gregory is he's a cute little fella, and he really cares about nature, and it's fun.
Does an animal die in the documentary?
No.
Or rather...
Oh, no.
wait.
Actually, I think so, because it shows cheetahs hunting.
Okay. Yeah, my mom is one of those where she loves nature documentaries, but unfortunately she hates when they die. Either if they're being killed or just, like, naturally, like, from old age or whatever. She can't handle that. So, unfortunately, she can't watch a lot of them.
Sure.
And, unfortunately, I'm not super into them, so I can't even, like, give her the thumbs up on them, because I'm just not really into them all that much. I'll watch them, especially, like...
I will say, I really like the ones where it's, like, trekking, like, their story and it's minimum, like, human or host.
Yeah.
But, like, when it's going over, like, the story and it's, like, them, like, surviving, like, a time period, like, that's when I really can get into them.
Yeah.
Like, I know my parents were watching one called, like, The Serengeti, like, many years back, and that was a really good narrative that, like, spanned, like, a bunch of different animals going through, like, the same event.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't write my next one.
You fool.
My next, see, I'm out of practice. My next one is The Big Fake. It's also, I think that was the next one on your list.
Yes.
In that order. Yeah, this was unfortunately just really boring. Based off the description, I was excited for it. God, I was so bored during this movie. I don't really know what else to say about it. It is one of those where, unfortunately, I may be a little more harsh on it, because being boring is not the end of the world, but because I was excited for it, it was boring, it was disappointing. So I might be a little harsher on it, but oh
No,
well.
that's fair. It feels like the main actor, I feel like, had some real promise there. Like, I'd be
Yeah.
interested to see him in something that was more, I'd say, engaging.
I agree. I agree with that.
And I saw on Letterboxd beforehand, someone was like, some great scenery shots at the very beginning. And, like, the scenery shots of them, like, going to the city, I was like, you know what? They ate with that. And then there's a couple of shots of, like, the city where it's, like, really empty, and I'm like, this is gorgeous. But then, like, the story itself is nowhere near as interesting as that.
Yeah, I agree with that. So, oh well. It's a, it's one of those Netflix films. Sometimes they eat and sometimes they have this. So,
At number 9, I have Greenland to Migration. We actually watched the first Greenland to watch this one. I kind of had the impression that after the first Greenland, it was going to be really weird to have a sequel. And I was aggressively correct. This feels very unwarranted. It has the kid from Jojo Rabbit in it, and I feel so sorry that these are the only two things I've seen him in, because how do you go from Jojo Rabbit to this? I don't know.
Maybe he needed a paycheck, and I hope he got it, I guess. I don't know.
I hope so, but
I don't know.
it's like, how can we make the end of the world be super basic and tropey
And nobody you come in contact with is all that mean. You have like one bad thing that happens, not to your main characters. Everybody's nice to your main characters, and they don't even really do anything. Like, they're just like, please, please. And they're like, oh, okay.
No, you're
Like, it's the
right.
end of the
I wasn't
world.
thinking about that.
People suck at the end of the world. They've made so many movies and shows about that. About what people will do at the end of the world just to survive. It's like, that's crazy.
I agree.
Ugh. My next one is also Greenland too. So I feel like we are kind of going in order so far, I think.
So far, we're in order.
On the ones we've both seen. Yeah. I kind of agree. It was aggressively okay. I think I gave, it's on here. I gave it 2.5 out of 5 stars. It was aggressively average, mid.
I would say below average. Like, the
Yeah, I mean,
it's
it's
just so not there, and I don't think the performances
math-wise.
are as good either.
Mm-hmm.
The girl, oh my god, the detective from Punisher, both seasons of The Punisher was in it, and I was like, oh, it's great to see you again. And then, throughout the movie, I'm like, oh wow, you really were just kind of here.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's like math-wise, it's average, but I feel like I usually rate if it's a solid or like watchable film if it's 3 out of 5 stars. So this is a little bit below that. Anyway.
My number 8, I have The Tank. I believe this was a German film that is on Prime right now. It's basically about this like group of people in World War I or 2, I can't remember. I think 2, because I think it does officially have Nazis in it. It's a little tricky,
Okay.
like, because sometimes, like, I think All Quiet on the Western Front is also about Germany, but it's in World War I, so like they talk about Germany and stuff, and it's kind of like, and how are we feeling about Germany? When I read that book, so it's a little hard to gauge. They talk about World War, and then it's like, okay, 1 or 2. That kind of sets an important context.
Especially when you're talking about Germany, like which one?
But it does show fascism from the side of Germany, which is why I'm thinking it's aggressive fascism, which is why I'm thinking it's 2.
Yeah.
But it's really cool with the tank set piece. They're like in the tank, they're moving the tank across. There's like a part where they have to like close up the tank and go underwater with it, which is really cool. The tank itself is just a really fun set piece. I think some decent performances. There's a wild twist at the end, which is kind of eye roll heavy. But it's memorable. I think this is one of the first new releases I watched this year. And you know what? A fine start, sure.
Speaking of fine, sure, I have The Rip on Netflix as well with Matt Damon and Ben Affleck. That's the pitch. I liked seeing them. I want to see more of their duo. I want to see them in a duo like maybe like The Accountant 2 in the way which also has Ben Affleck in it actually. Their like chemistry is great, but it was in a movie where the script was really good. And this is not that, unfortunately. Matt Damon literally it makes me sad. I'm like, you made The Martian and then you're having this conversation. He's talking about how Netflix, like, they basically, it reminds me of how like a lot of Christian songs use chords that like they've done scientific studies on certain chords will make you feel something. It'll make you feel like bad or emotional or like it's I could go off on a tangent. It's a little manipulative because at certain like church camps they'll play certain songs that will literally make your emotions like open up and make you sad and then they like ask people to do like confessionals basically. Children. Um anyways, so he was talking about how Netflix is basically doing that with how they structure their films where it's like in the film they'll remind you what the plot is multiple times for people not really watching and just scrolling on their phones. They'll also have an action sequence right out the gate so it hooks people. They'll have multiple throughout the movie so they won't get bored and turn it off. So it's a good background movie basically. And I'm like, how can you like proudly talk about your movie like that? Like that's just so sad to me. And unfortunately, I did feel I read that before I watched this movie, and I feel like that kind of worsened my experience because it just made me have a sour taste in my mouth when watching this movie. And then yeah, it was like they reminded you what was happening so many times, and action sequences were happening, but they weren't really like interesting. It was just an aggressively okay movie, and if it didn't have two really talented actors in it, I wouldn't like it as much as I did. So, I gave this, I think, 6 out of 10, so 3.5, or 3 out of 5 stars. So, it was okay.
At my number 7, I have Kidnapped Elizabeth Smart.
Mm.
I think this was a solid documentary.
Mm-hmm.
Documentaries aren't really my thing, which is why it's a bit lower on here, but I do think it was really well made. Although I think some of the people they brought in gave wild testimonies, and sometimes I was like, they keep bringing back this one person who's like not involved in the story at all. Why are they here? So some weird choices here. But I've not heard of the tale of the kidnapping of Elizabeth Smart. So it was very interesting to hear that for the first time, but apparently they've made many a things on this specific case.
yeah.
So I'm not sure how it compares, but I'm sure there's maybe some better ones out there. This was solid. This was fine.
Yeah. My next one, there is a good gap between these two. If nothing else, because I'm so impressed by the main actor and also just the visual effects, whether it was practical or not. I don't know really how they did it. But I put The Iron Lung. So this movie was interesting to me because I feel like I kept checking the time because I was like a little bit bored throughout most of this movie. But I also really liked what I was seeing on the screen. Like the visuals were really, really cool. And it was giving video game, but in a good way. What do we say? Like Avatar also did that, I think, too. Avatar Fire and Ash.
Yeah.
It was giving video game. But at least this one, it is a video game. And I feel like it was purposeful. I felt like I was playing the game in a way. Now, I don't know if it's accurate to the game. I have no idea. I haven't heard of that. But it didn't dampen the experience for me. It was just really cool. The use of red was really cool. The use of, like, one singular set was really fun. It almost gave like a one shot impression. Obviously it's not, but it's just when you're in the same place. So I don't know, very cool. I thought the actor did a great job. I would love for him to pop up other places. I don't know, I feel like other than the visual effects, I wasn't really hooked to the story, which is why I think I was a little bit bored. So the actor did good, and the visuals were really cool. So yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
At my number 6, I have Send Help. I fear I just will never be able to appreciate Sam Raimi on a base level the way most people do. And that's unfortunate for me. I think our two leads here do such a great job. I think they help prevent most of this movie from being kind of a standard tale that I've seen a couple of times in the last couple of years. I feel like when it goes into horror elements, like the hardcore horror elements, it feels super Sam Raimi, but I also feel like it kind of clashes with what I feel like this movie is in a lot of ways. I have a lot of thoughts, but keeping it short, still solid. I'd watch it again. It's really funny. But yeah, go them. Go Sam Raimi. Happy for you.
My next one is the Elizabeth Smart documentary. I thought this was really solid. I appreciated how much they showed of Elizabeth and her family, and not really giving much of a platform at all to the perpetrator. I don't even know. So I don't know. I thought it was well put together, but yeah, documentaries aren't super my thing either. But I feel like this is one of the better ones. I don't know. I don't watch a lot of them, so I can't really say that. But
Another thing, because we watched another one not too long ago,
The Perfect Neighbor.
The Perfect Neighbor, and that one I think was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's unfortunate watching this so close to that one.
I think
for
so,
me,
that was really good. It was really well done.
But no, I think it's very, very solid.
Yeah.
My number 5 in the top 5, I have The Rip. I feel like even though they do talk about, I feel like you could probably play a drinking game with how often they use the term The Rip.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Damon and
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. Oh my god. I think they're solid in it. I think Tiana Taylor being here is really fun. Sasha Kaye. I think it's always great to see her around again. I feel like until like right before the third act, I was kind of really zoning out on it. But then like the third act kind of ties together a lot of the stuff that I was like, why are people being like this? It kind of ties everything together, and I'm like, okay,
Because
sure,
it's literally not even
fine.
trying to engage you. It's trying to just keep you there while it's in the background of whatever else you're doing. Which is crazy.
I can see that. But I enjoy seeing most of these actors enough that I like can sit through it.
Yeah.
But and the third act I think is fun. So yeah, Rip.
My next one is the Marcel Hernandez American Boy stand-up comedy special. He's hilarious. I knew he was hilarious, obviously. I don't really watch SNL, but obviously I see like clips of it online, and he pops up a lot because he's very funny. So no surprise that this was very funny. I kept seeing clips of this as well. So many, like 2 days after it came out. So I finally got around to it, and it was very funny. And I appreciate how many jokes he made about women that were not offensive and just straight up really funny and relatable. I'm like, he knows things about us that he should not know. No, but it's really funny because he knows a lot of that stuff. He kept talking about because of his mom, his mom's. Oh my god, I like want to meet his mom.
Crazy stories. I thought it was so cute. This isn't on my list because I watched it in February. But I thought it was super cute having his mom announce him coming out, and then him going crazy about their stories. Wild.
You're like, I had ADD, so thought I had ADD. My mom said I do not have ADD, so I do not have ADD, or something like that. Is that what he or ADHD? I thought he said ADD. Anyway, that's hilarious. Oh my god, I could literally make an entire video of the jokes he made. It was very funny. So, great guy. Would love to see more from him.
Absolutely. I hope he gets more comedy specials, especially after having watched a lot of comedy specials towards the end of the year to kind of catch up on some of the award stuff. That's certainly one of my favorites of the ones I've seen recently.
Yeah, it makes me want to watch some of those. At least the one that you recommended to me, the cat guy.
Ooh, there's 2 of those that I'd highly recommend. But at my number 4, I have Cosmic Princess Kaguya.
Ooh.
So this is, I believe, out of Japan. It's based off of a Japanese story. I believe it's like the Bamboo Princess is what it's based off of. It's basically about this moon
Cool.
goddess that gets sent down. Um, the people on Earth fall in love with her to try and get her to stay. They like try and marry her off to princes, but then she ends up having to be returned to the moon.
Oh.
This happens in a modern day setting to this like stressed out college girl. Um, Basically, the princess comes down as a baby, and then starts rapidly like growing up, and she's like a grown up in like 4 days or something. And then she decides she wants to be an e-girl pop performer. Because they have kind of like a Ready Player One situation where they have like this like VR like contact that they go into, and then they have this like crazy like 3D game world that they're all in, and everyone has like these avatars, and they have like these celebrities that she's trying to fit into. And then they fight, they perform, they do some really great visual stuff in the gamescape, which is really cool. And then they deal with, oh no, but the moon people are gonna come to get you back or whatever. It's a little weird, but the animation and the characters I think are charming enough to get past most of the weirdness.
Okay.
But it's very charming. I didn't think I would like it as much as I did, especially because
Sure.
it's a little longer than you might think given that plot, but
Mhm.
it's still very charming.
All right. Next one. On my number 3, we have People We Meet on Vacation. This was one of the first new January releases, if not the first January release we had watched. I don't think anything really came out that first day.
I had watched The Tank and what was that other one? The Follow My Voice. Those came out like
Okay.
I think January 2nd. So, but
Then I did not. Oh, excuse me. I'm yawning. Okay. No, then I did not watch anything before this, new release wise. This started the year off so well. It was the perfect setting. It was like a few weeks before y'all were gonna get married. So, and then I remember I was drinking wine. Like, it was like the best. This is like, I think you were saying it was like the perfect movie to drink wine to or something like that. And get married in a few weeks. And it was, but it was also just really good. I've been seeing people say it was rushed and they skipped scenes from books. I'm like, that's gonna happen when it's a movie and not a TV show. When it's based off a book, that's gonna happen. I don't care as much because this is my hot take. I wasn't a huge fan of the book. I even looked back to confirm. I really like a lot of Emily Henry's books and am excited that a few more of them are getting adapted. Um, to Netflix too. Now, I wish the only bad part of that is that means they're not going to get a theatrical release, and this would have been a really fun theatrical release or whatever. But yeah, this was my least favorite book of hers. Now, it's been a few years since I've read them, but I'm also not a huge fan of the friends to lovers trope, so that might be why. I don't know. But so maybe I didn't care as much that they left some things out. The movie was good, and the two actors had great chemistry, and I love them both. So, and then that put that put her on your radar, Emily Bader.
yeah.
So watch
yeah.
My Lady Jane. It's so good.
My number 3, I have Iron Lung. I love Markiplier. I grew up watching Markiplier. I've never actually seen his gameplay of Iron Lung. So I went into this, pretty blind. I super loved the aesthetic of it all. I think the one set piece is so cool. I think it's lit really cool. They do great effects in the movie, considering how cheap this movie was to make. I think everything looks incredible. They really go for big swings. They add a lot of lore building to it, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. But Markiplier, I think, gives a great performance. I think for a film directorial debut, I think it is very bold, and I think very successful successful in what it's trying to do. It has, I don't know, it has such like a specific going stir crazy kind of feel to it. I think that if this came out maybe a little closer to like the pandemic era, I think it would have had a
It was
crazy
giving
appeal.
pandemic. Oh my god, it was.
But gosh, I feel so much like passion from it, from the person who starred and directed it. It has a few rough edges, and I think it is, considering its subject, it is maybe a little longer than I would recommend it being for a casual audience member. But it wasn't even meant to originally go out as far as it was. It just got picked up randomly by AMC sort of last minute, so it was able to reach such a wider audience, which I think is so awesome. This is such a win for independent filmmaking, and I really hope it kind of continues to build on that trend. Indie horror from Five Nights at Freddy's getting picked up. I think this is right in that same vein. I would love to see more continue in this trail.
Yeah. I think it's cool. I didn't know it was by AMC, or that they had picked it up, because they are also the ones that did Interview with the Vampire, which is also such a good show.
Well, they didn't help like make it, but I think they helped push it out.
Push it out. But that's cool, because I love Interview with the Vampire, so they're picking some good projects. So, yeah, if nothing, yeah. Even though, yeah, Iron Lung wasn't my favorite, but I'm glad they believed in it, and I'm glad it got a theatrical release. That's always a win in my book. Also, I have ASMR.
Right. Oh my gosh.
Not him talking over my ASMR.
You can
I'm
silence
just kidding.
me. You can go
I
and
will.
edit and silence.
I'll mute you. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm muted this entire episode.
No, I'm just kidding. Okay, my top two are Send Help and 28 Years Later Bone Temple. So I'll go ahead and talk about Send Help. I really liked this. But I also have liked a bunch of other Sam Raimi films. I'm actually a huge fan of his, like, of the original Spider-Man movie. I know everybody likes 2, and rightfully so. My hot take is I actually like the first one a little bit better, which I know is a hot take. It's okay. I also just really like Green Goblin, which probably contributes to that. But then even Multiverse of Madness, like, the directing wasn't usually my problem with it. Like, I loved clearly there were some ideas there that were really cool. The visuals were really cool of that movie. It was a lot of other things, like the script, that was my problem. So, which he is the director, so I'm sure he's at least partially at fault for that. But I feel like he clearly had a vision, and then maybe other people got in the way. I don't know. All I could say about this movie is that I really liked it. I thought the 2 lead performances were great. I feel like a very unexpected duo, but a very fun duo. They did some great work here. People are joking that not joking, they're seriously saying that they should win an Oscar for their performances, and I'm like, they're not, but I'm like, I get it. Like, it's pretty cool. It's pretty fun. They're doing some great work here. They're both crazy, especially Rachel McAdams. Is her name right? Her name always doesn't feel real to me. I'm like, that's not a real name. I don't know why. But there was one scene in this movie where she was like, she found a waterfall and was like not even bathing in it. That's not the right word, but just like enjoying it. She was letting it fall on her. And I thought of 2 things. I thought, that's literally Regina George. And then I thought of that gif of what's her face? Drew something.
Barrymore
in the rain. Just enjoy the rain. I'm like, she's just a girl, Your Honor. Yes, maybe she killed some people, but she's just a girl. She just wanted to live her Survivor moment. My only disappointment is that she didn't go on Survivor after that. I feel like, what other pitch could you have, you know? I was wanting to hear that she went on Survivor and won it. But that's really my only complaint. I had a really good time. I laughed a lot. I cracked up. What was the thing that I cracked up a lot from? I don't even remember. I laughed harder than I had in a hot second, though. to a movie at least. So, props. Very funny, very scary, but in a fun way. Yeah. And then 28 years later, Bone Temple. We'll talk about that a little bit more after this, I think. What a great film. People were saying it was great, but then I feel like outside of the film bubble, people weren't really talking about it, and they're still not. And I think that's a crime because it is as good as people are saying. Nia DaCosta, you deserve so much better than you've been getting the past several years. So, that's all I'm gonna say.
Indeed.
Yeah.
My number 2 is People We Meet on Vacation, and 1 is also 28 years. The Bone Temple.
Yeah.
People We Meet on Vacation, I kind of went in with pretty low expectations for it. I kind of expected it to be a typical Netflix rom-com. But I think the casting, the chemistry, and then kind of the themes are done really well. Gosh, I think it just knocked it out of the park for what it was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not familiar with the book at all, so I can't possibly have any of the complaints that the fans of this story have. But gosh, it was just so good. And I was a little worried going into it with the girl being really obnoxious off the bat, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't know. I don't know if you can convince me this is fixable." But then they did,
Yeah.
and I think that's very impressive on its own.
She did a really good job at portraying like such a big personality without it ever really being obnoxious. I don't know if she was ever really obnoxious.
I would say it never felt like unbelievable.
Yeah. I mean, obviously the lateness, that's annoying. Like, I'm someone who's always on time, so I would find that annoying. But when I first saw the burrito thing, I was like, oh no. But then it wasn't really her fault, so I'm like, I'm not even really mad at her for that. Yeah, no, I think it's a great job. It's like, she's also just unapologetically very, like, big and lively, and I love that. So, the dance scene is, like, probably one of the best scenes in, like, any rom-com ever. It's up there, like, one of the best. It should
so
be in that
cute.
conversation, I think, so.
Absolutely.
I mean, we literally added that song to y'all's playlist. I don't even remember if it played, but I don't think it did. But anyways, that's another conversation.
At number 1, I had 28 Years Later, The Bone Temple. I absolutely loved 28 Years Later. I think both of us will obviously get into it, didn't appreciate the first 2. I don't think anyone really appreciates 28 Weeks Later, but we didn't appreciate 28 Days Later nearly as much as everyone else seems to.
Sorry, man, I can't.
But I was interested to see how this continues 28 years later with a different director.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it nails it. We're going to go into some specifics,
sure.
obviously, but I think it changes its focus a little bit onto 2 really interesting characters from the first one,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of makes them the main characters. And I absolutely loved those characters in the first one. I think they grow into this movie perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it is just such a great roller coaster of emotion throughout. So,
Well, I think my favorite part of the first movie was anytime they explored Jodie Comer's character and her entire storyline and just the humanity with it. And I feel like this was like an entire movie of that, of both sides of the coin, like very good, very evil. So it's just like expanding that conversation into an entire movie, which I think is why I loved this one. So, yeah.
so that is our list of the movies we watched that were released in January. What do you think? Do you have a list to share of your own? Let us know in the comments below. Next, we have our first time watches of January. I will say these also include some of the things we watched at the tail end of December, so do expect a fair amount of movies from the end of last year.
Yeah, we're pretty behind, but we'll get caught up after this. It'll be fine.
Boom, boom, boom. Alrighty. You are cleaning that off. I will go ahead and start talking on my number 10.
Go ahead.
And I had 30 first-time watches in January. My number 10, I had Starship Troopers. This is one of those movies that I've seen pieces of like throughout my entire life. It's very, I don't know. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did. Seeing it all put together, it was. It's like a. Do you know anything about it?
Mm-mm.
So it's basically this like, sci-fi military movie, where there's this like bug planet of these giant bugs, and the Earth's military is going at war against them. And so it I think tackles on in a very subtle way the idea that there's this kind of like military what's the right word, dystopian kind of feel to it, but it doesn't address it head on at all. I think it plays on some like propaganda. It overlooks a lot of the things about why the war is happening, but they hint at it. There's some other movies that I'm interested to go to eventually, because I know this is a franchise that people talk about is very it's like a metaphor about American society, and propaganda and that kind of stuff. And like the bugs are supposed to be like minorities or the people that America attacks with their military, and why people, kind of fall into that line of thinking. I can see pieces of that here, but I think it's done really subtly that I can see it going over people's heads. And I'm very curious to see if that's something explored more on in the future movies that kind of builds some like appreciation into this first one. I think the cast is great. I think the effects of the bugs are really cool. It's just a very fun time. Great sci-fi.
Ooh. My number 10 is Left-Handed Girl. Oh, I forgot to say I watched, 27? Yeah, 27 new movies. In late December through the end of January.
Sure.
So, yeah. So my number 10 is Left-Handed Girl. I watched this because it was being nominated, I think, only in, like, one of the categories in... It was, like, for,
In the
like,
Critics' Choice, I
Young
believe.
Actress, I think.
And it was Young Actress, and then in Critics' Choice, it was also nominated for Best International,
Okay.
I believe.
Yeah, and I can totally see why she was nominated. I think she's adorable. It was the younger girl, right? The
Yes.
youngest? Okay. I was making sure, because there's a few young characters in there. Anyways, yeah, I thought it was actually pretty cute and very touching. I feel like I kind of want to rewatch it, actually, at some point in my life. I don't know. Even though I'm not really into movies right now. I'm like, maybe I'll rewatch that this summer. I don't know. I feel like I want to think on it more, but first impression was that I liked it. It was like, I gave it 7.5 out of 10 stars. So, yeah.
My number 9, I have Tremors. Oh my gosh. Watched that for the first time. What a hoot. This might be one of my favorite Kevin Bacon roles. Have you seen it at all? Oh my gosh, it's about these man-eating giant worms that like burrow under the ground. And it's like this small western town that has like one road in or out, and they get like stuck in there, but they can't like go get help because the worms are down there.
Oh no.
I want to say I think Reba's in it as well. Reba McEntire.
Right.
It's very charming. The effects are all practical, and it looks great. Yeah, it's just such a hoot. I can see how this is a classic. I know Cole has talked about it. It's crazy that I haven't seen it before, and having seen it, oh my gosh, I so agree. So fun.
Okay. My number 9, I feel like this is going to be a common theme because a lot of late December watches were awards movies. Or just new releases that we needed to catch up on, whatever. This is one of them, Song Sung Blue. A highly underrated film that I feel like people in the film world are hating on, because didn't Kate Hudson get an Oscar nom for that? I think. I can't remember. She was at least in the conversation, and that was
I know she got
enough
a Golden Globe nom.
Yeah, that was enough to drive people crazy, and I think they're crazy for that. This movie maybe wasn't like the best movie ever. I still think it was pretty solid. However, Kate Hudson's performance was phenomenal, and I think it's a crime that people are not recognizing that just because maybe they're underrating the film, especially because I'll say it, I know this is a hot take. People were talking at least before Jessie Buckley is clearly now the front runner of Best Actress. They were talking about Rose Byrne should be one of the front runners, if not the winner. And I'm like, that's kind of crazy to me. I thought she did good too, but I feel like, how can you at least not admit that their performances are on the same level or close? Whatever. They're overrating one and they're underrating the other. So, anyway.
And I'm just like, why do we gotta pit two queens against each
No,
other?
actually, for real. Because I'm like, can't we just celebrate that there was a bunch of great performances this year? And it's so competitive. Anyways. Whatever.
My number 8, I have 1917.
Oh, yeah.
Have you ever seen it?
No, but I remember you were talking about it.
Oh my gosh. Do you know, like, the thing about it? How it's, like, a one-shot the entire movie?
Really?
Yes.
Maybe you did say that. That sounds familiar.
It's super cool. I know they reference it in Sex Education. There's, like, a scene, towards the very end.
Oh,
where it's, like,
yeah, where he runs that scene. I remember that. Because I've seen that show.
yeah, it's crazy. The directing is so impressive. I think the
You should
main...
watch that show. It's good.
I will. I know people talk great things about it. But yeah, I was interested to see what the story around it is. And it's solid. I think this is a great movie. I understand why it was talked about so much. It's very ambitious, just based on the directing choice. Some surprising faces show up. Whitaker was in it randomly. He's a random background actor in it, and I was like, no way I'm clocking Whitaker right now. And then I looked it up, and it's like, yep, he's like soldier number 23 in it.
That's really funny.
Crazy find on my part. But yeah, no, highly recommend this. Especially as someone who's been diving more into the film world and like looking for those like long-standing shots where it's like the actors don't get to break. They have to stay in character this entire time. This is like that to like the most extreme level. So cool.
My number 8 is total opposite vibe here is Hundreds of Beavers. This was so funny, and I'm glad that you forced me to watch it because I really didn't want to watch it. And you were like, but I've heard it's a really good comedy. So I'm like, fine. And then we watched it, and it was a really good comedy. So I'm like, okay, I'll admit it. It was good. It was worth the watch. And then just seeing, like, what they did with the so little amount of money they had is just really inspiring. It's like, it's not only funny, but it's just, it feels important because this was made and this exists, and I love that. So, yeah.
Yeah. My number 7 is Hundreds of Beavers.
Yeah.
No, I was really interested, and I really had no idea what to expect from it, but I just know that people have talked about it being one of the most, like, well-made comedies of, like, the 2020s. So I was like, I mean, you gotta see if that's true. And it's so unique. It's basically, it's black and white, it's a silent film, and so it's basically just relying on, you know, set pieces and body language and
Yeah. They don't talk in the film.
yeah, that's probably a better way of saying it. But gosh, and I saw like right before we started playing that it's like video game inspired.
Really?
Yeah, with like the getting things to go trade at the market, and with an end goal. I had seen what the beavers look like going into it, and I was like, what am I getting into?
Really
but
funny,
it's
though.
so funny. It's just so fun. I would say it reminds me a lot of the Iron Lung, where you can like just feel the passion of it's like such a passion project.
Absolutely.
And it is so funny. Oh my gosh.
Good. My number 7 is Belin. Another very important film for a very different reason. Um, but very well done. I'm glad the story was told. Um, it's hard for me to say I'm happy about the end result because it's like it shouldn't have happened in the first place. It's like it's I don't know. Um, but either way, I'm just glad that this is getting more attention with this movie. The story is getting more attention. Um, yeah, and I think it was really well done, and I would love to see some of this cast other places. So, yeah.
Yeah. That and Left-Handed Girl, I think I had watched the month before, so this isn't on my list. But Belen, I remember watching that and thinking, wow, and people aren't talking about this for international feature. Like, these other movies they are talking about better, like, be stacking
Yeah.
up, because that was a great movie. At number 6, I have Sung Sung Blue. Gosh, I think it's crazy when, like, Hugh Jackman is maybe the weakest link of your main cast.
It's great because the daughters were really good too.
The daughters had such a great
Crazy.
dynamic.
And he did good. So it's
He
like
did
that's
solid.
a testament to the cast.
Yeah. I think it's so great. I think it's showing such like such a great like test of love in it. Like you see them form such a bond and such a connection and forming such a healthy family, and then you see all of that get tested in such an extreme way in this film. And then you get to see them come out on the other side of that, and I think it is all just done really well. I love this movie. It's not a perfect movie, and I will say it doesn't like break any kind of like huge bounds. But I think the performance that Kate Hudson gives really makes it something special.
Yeah.
And it has some great actors otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
But like the scene where she's like giving that like the performance outside. Oh my god, I was sobbing. Crazy. Especially because I also was not familiar at all with their story.
Yeah.
So seeing that all, in real time, maybe people went in knowing what happens and they can kind of prepare for that. Was not prepared at all. So, oh my gosh.
Yeah. My number 6 is The Firm. I had started slowly watching more Tom Cruise films, making my way. I'm over halfway done now. I'll definitely finish that in summer, if nothing else. Man, he's got a lot of films. But he's really good in this one. It just reminds me how good he is in like a courtroom scene, lawyer scene, anywhere in that space. Obviously, A Few Good Men is one of his best films. This is really good too. It's well, I don't want to spoil anything, so because it's pretty good. I mean, it's like it's pretty high on my list of all the movies I've watched. So, yeah, this is one of his better ones. I'm getting to that streak where he has like 8 really good films in a row. At least as far as they're rated on Letterboxd. So I'm almost to Magnolia, which I'm so excited. I have Eyes Wide Shut, and my hesitancy on that is because it's still for some reason $6 to rent when it came out in like 1980.
Dang.
Why is it still that expensive? And it's just kind of it's just the principle. Like, why should I have to pay that much for a movie that old? So, it's okay. I'll do it someday. Because then I think the next film is, I believe, Magnolia. So I'm really, everyone says that's like one of his best, like top 3. So, yeah. Anyways.
My number 5, I have Sentimental Value. Oh my gosh. I went in with some pretty high expectations, and almost all of them were met. So, I think our main cast is great. I think some very well-deserved nominations for this movie.
I think like all of them got a nom, actually, of the main cast.
Of the main 4.
And I think that's kind of valid. I'm like, I understand that.
Absolutely. I think the house as kind of its own character is really cool. Stellan Skarsgård I think kills it.
Mhm.
I would say he gives my favorite performance in this movie. But he's backed by some like his other like these other actresses that he's bouncing off of. I think do such a great job as well.
Mhm.
Uh,
I think out
ugh.
of all of them, he has the highest chance to win in his respective category.
Mm-hmm.
I think so, and I think that's so deserved. He's had a great career. I don't think he's won an Oscar yet, which is kind of crazy. Um, well, didn't he win the Golden Globe? I believe.
I
Or
believe
something?
so.
Because I remember he was so shocked, and but he still gave a great speech about the importance of movie theaters, I believe, which is always an important conversation. So, yeah, that's a really good category though. I'd be excited for a lot of people to win, but he would be one of them for sure.
No, you can't say that the man doesn't deserve it. He's
Mhm.
given us so many other great Skarsgård actors.
We just watched, yeah, and then we just watched the first three
Pirates of the
Pirates
Caribbean
movie.
movies where he's also in them.
Oh, these are not my list because I had watched them before. That's why I
Yep.
was like, why are they not? Yeah. And he was great in that movie. So.
Yeah, he's great. He's such a great actor.
Mhm.
Yeah, sentimental value, great. The themes, they're heartbreaking. They have like a subtlety to them. I think it's a movie that easily could hit you over the head with the themes, but I think they're so subtle, in the way that they're introduced and explored that it becomes like a melancholy heartbreak
Mhm.
throughout. So great.
Yeah. My number 5 is It Was Just an Accident. I remember people were talking about this film, and it's one of the international releases that we were able to watch at that time. I think, didn't you say you just got The Secret Agent
Yes.
too? I want to watch that one and No Other Choice. Because No Other Choice got
Mhm.
snubbed at the Oscars. Well, so people say. I haven't seen it. But I know I really like the main actor in that one, so I'm excited for that one to come out eventually. Anyways, It Was Just an Accident. It was pretty good for most of the film, but I kept reading and hearing about the last like 20, 30 minutes, and it delivered. It was intense. It was really well done. And also, even though maybe I wasn't as blown away with this as other people were or I thought I would be, I can greatly appreciate again the fact that this just exists because of the struggles of this director making any film, but also this one. So yeah, that helps. I feel like sometimes when it's appropriate like this, like outside things do affect how I think about the movie, even if it doesn't have anything to do with the inside of the
It can
actual
make the movie important.
Yeah, it's like just the
and adds to its
context of
value.
its existence. Yeah. So, yeah, I appreciate that a lot.
Absolutely.
Very happy that this exists. So, and that it's being talked about and appreciated. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
At number 4, I have Pirates of the Caribbean at World's End. I was a little nervous after, what was the second one? Dead Man's Chest. Davy Jones was greatly introduced. I think they introduced him really well. But I remember like there was a lot happening in that movie, and I was a little nervous after the first one that I was like, okay, was this kind of like a one hit and done kind of thing? And they just kept going. Obviously, it's going to be great to see these characters no matter what in some capacity. But this, I think, concludes that first trilogy so well. I love Davy Jones
I'm like getting chills.
and Tia Dalma. Like they're like I called in my Letterboxd review. I'm like, why are they like the original Wanda and Vision? I think those two characters are so great. Getting the trio of Jack, Elizabeth, and Will Turner back together. I think their dynamic is great. It's just so fun, and it opens the world really cool. The visuals are astounding. God, just I'm so sad I didn't get to see these movies in theaters because seeing this must have been so great.
I'm sure at some point, because they released in the early 2000s, I believe, or mid 2000s. I believe at some point they should be able to do a
Like the anniversary stuff.
release. So I don't know. Hopefully they haven't already done it, but I'm thinking like 2006 area later, something like that. So sometime within the next 5 or 10 years, they should hopefully do some. We can watch it.
Hopefully.
maybe. My number 4 is Little Amelie, or the character of Rain, aka God. This was so funny because I can't. No, there has never been better timing of me saying something and then a movie doing this thing I just said, or the opposite. There's never been better timing than in this movie. I kid you not. I guess if spoilers for this movie, but the whole point is that this child thinks that they're God because they can't move. They're in like a vegetable state, but then they're able to walk. I don't know. Anyways, and there's this scene where it's getting to the scene where she's by some water, and I go, I don't think she's actually God or something.
She's
I
not
think
like actually God, is
she's not
she?
actually God. And then she goes, whoosh, and she splits the fucking water.
Like friggin' Moses.
Literally, like 1 or 2 seconds after I said that, she does that. I can't. It's the best timing ever of me ever saying anything in my life. But other than that, it was also a really good film.
The animation I thought was so awesome.
It's so pretty. I don't even know what it reminds me of, but it's just so pretty. I would love to see more films like this. It makes me excited for, I believe it's called Gato or something. I don't know if I'm saying that right. The cat movie. Because we've seen like rough sketches of it or whatever. But they said that they wanted like a painted animation style, and that makes me very excited for that. I'm like, please
For
be
sure.
something similar to this, because that would be great.
Yeah, I would love to see more animated movies like this hit the mainstream where they're changing up what animation can look like.
Yep.
I think Into the Spider-Verse set a very great trend with like the frames that your characters move at. And I think that there's clearly a lot of inspiration from that we're seeing still recognized. K-pop Demon Hunters in that vein is a front runner this season, and I think that's such a great movie. And I think it finds its own ways to kind of elevate that style, but I would love to see more bigger movies trying to change what animation is popular and what is like seen and appreciated by the general audience.
Yeah, it makes me think of last year with Flow.
Flow's a good one.
That was awesome, not only because of its animation style, but also just because it was another like silent film. That's crazy. I just love it, and it was still such a good film. It's like, you know, that discussion that people are still having, like, don't let subtitle. It's like when Parasite won Best Picture. They were saying in the speech, don't let, you know, subtitles keep you from watching these films, because there's a whole other world out there if you know, get over the like whatever. I forgot what he said, but he said like the 2-inch whatever, referring to subtitles. So I think the same thing here. Don't let certain animation styles, or the fact that maybe sometimes it doesn't have dialogue, whatever, don't let that get in your way, because it could still be a really good film. So
Absolutely.
it might even make it better because of that. So I don't know. Anyway.
At my number 3, I have the Grand Budapest Hotel. We're officially into my top 3 here are perfect scores from me. Oh my gosh, this is absolutely. I so see why people say this is Wes Anderson's best movie.
I need to see it.
I can't believe no one ever told me that Ralph Fiennes is the main character.
What a pitch!
Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
It's so great. The Grand Budapest Hotel is also a great set piece. It's very Wes Anderson, but it's such like a fun, lively place to be in. And they're in plenty of other places which have their own charm as well. The cast is great. Oh, it's just so great. This is like the Wes Anderson like this. I see why people say that he peaked here. Gosh, and I liked I liked the Phoenician scheme a little better than most people do.
Me too.
And I liked Asteroid City as well. It makes me very excited to see some more of his work that I haven't seen yet.
Did he do the French
Dispatch, yes.
Dispatch? I want to see that one and.
I
Girls
have
Who
seen
Bet.
that one. It was the first movie of his that I had seen, and I
Well, it's
remember
one of
being
the
weirded
only-
out by it. But I want to
Oh,
rewatch it because
okay.
that was forever ago.
Maybe we can rewatch it together sometime. Because it's one of the only Timothy Chalamet films I haven't seen. I've seen most of his films because I go on binges where I'm like, oh, I like love this actor or actress. I'm gonna watch all of their movies. So I had a little bit of that with Elizabeth Olsen, but then Marvel stopped using her, which because they're lame. So I need to not let them. I need to not let that be an excuse because she's great. Anyways, my number 3 is Sentimental Value. I also loved this film. I think it was great. I feel like my only disappointment, which this is kind of silly, but everyone was talking about this film and Hamnet being like the big tearjerkers, and I feel like I don't even know if I ever teared up. That's just my thing. If I don't cry when we watch Hamnet, because you also bought that, if I don't cry when we watch Hamnet, it's not getting a perfect score. I can tell you that. That's where I'm at. I'm like, you better make me cry at least a little bit.
Mhm.
Sentimental Value, I'll give it to it. It's whatever. It has a 9 out of 10. But it was still really good. I'm just a little disappointed. I'm like, well, and everyone says you're gonna cry. Sometimes I look forward to that. I'm like, yay, I need a good cry. Like, let's have an emotional film. And it was. I just never.
Yeah.
Felt like
Like it doesn't
whatever.
feel for me. It wasn't like sob worthy, but it was like a melancholy sadness
Yeah.
of like kind of the loss of what could have been.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of exploration on that with like the relationship between her and her father.
I feel like it's one of those movies that makes you want to then turn on a sad song playlist. You know? Like,
Yeah.
it just puts you in a mood
Yeah.
rather than making you cry. Hamnet needs to make me cry. Let's put it that way.
I agree. I'm gonna be very upset if I'm not crying at Hamnet.
Yeah.
I probably won't let that affect my score, but I want to cry when I watch it.
No, I think,
Ugh.
unfortunately, it's at least going to be a 9 out of 10. It's not going to be a 10 out of 10. It can be even 9.5, but it's not getting a perfect score if it doesn't make me cry. So, because everyone in my theater was like sniffling at the end of the movie. I'm like, okay, let's see. Because I'm capable of I don't cry. I'm not one of those that cries at very easily to films, but I do cry to films. I still cry to like Little Women or Barbie. Like, and I've seen that I don't even know how many times. So, I'm very capable of crying when it works. So.
At my number 2, I have Pirates of the Caribbean: The Curse of the Black Pearl. So the first time I had watched it, I think I'd seen pieces of this before, but oh my gosh, imagine just like making the pirate movie, and like that's like it's so iconic. I can so clearly see a younger me if I had sat down and watched this, like having a whole pirate phase.
Yeah.
The world building is so great. Hector Barbosa, I feel like, is a little unappreciated in this franchise because he's so iconic.
He's very funny.
Obviously, it introduced Jack Sparrow, the bisexual awakening that is Elsbeth and William Turner.
Oh my God, Nick Nelson.
Yep.
I so understand you. I'm like, if there's any film where you would discover you are bi from, it would be this one, and that is so valid. That is so valid. And that scene too, I'm like, I get it. You are so seen.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Gosh, everything is just so fun here. Oh, it's so fun. It encapsulates the pirate aesthetic in such a fun way. Like Ghost Story.
When they lined up the fighting to the music,
Yes!
oh my God,
my
why do more
gosh.
people not do that?
Whenever like I heard that, I was like, yes, more of this.
Cinema, right here.
Ugh, so fun, so great. I love pirates.
It was very fun to rewatch that. Yeah. My number 2 is The Sixth Sense. This one you have already seen and put me on. Now, I don't think I knew the plot twist going into this. However, I do unfortunately think it's really obvious. And you agreed with me. You were like, yeah, that's really obvious. However, it didn't dampen my experience. I gave it a perfect score. And I think it's really a testament to how good your script is when the big plot twist of the movie being obvious doesn't ruin it at all. at all. It doesn't dampen it. It doesn't ruin it. It works really well, even knowing what's going to happen. Obviously, you have the iconic line, "I see dead people." That was delivered so well. Didn't realize, I knew the person that he is. Like, I knew the grown-up version. But I kept feeling like, I know this guy's face. So then I Googled it, and I'm like, yeah, I do know this guy. Why hasn't he been in more stuff? I don't know. Anyways, he did really well in this movie. Oh my god, who's the main actor? Someone really big that I should know.
Like the therapist?
Yeah.
Oh, his name evades me, but he's in some really great stuff.
No, he is. Bruce Willis?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, and Toni Collette's in this movie too.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love Toni
There's
Collette.
a good handful of movies that I really appreciated, and then I see the cast list and I'm like, oh my gosh, I didn't realize that woman was Toni Collette when I watched it.
No, it's such a good film. It's a masterpiece. It really is. I would love to rewatch this someday. It's kind of like, it reminds me just now of like Knives Out, knowing the twist doesn't dampen the experience at all. I didn't know the twist when watching it the first time, and I was floored.
But you can
However,
still watch it
works.
and still enjoy it. I think that really is the testament to
Yes.
a good mystery. There's
Yeah.
a mystery element here. I also I'm a sucker for movies that just randomly have people able to like see ghosts or do something with that, just like
Something
randomly.
supernatural.
Oh, no, I agree. It is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Alrighty, at number 1, and I feel like our number ones are going to be the
Yes.
same. I have Marty Supreme.
Same.
Watched that at the end of December. Oh,
We literally
so,
drove like
so
an hour and a
good.
half to see that movie, and got to see Song Song Blue too. So that was really fun. Fun two for oneer.
A
And
very
you know what?
emotional and roller coaster of a double feature.
And you know what? I have beef with that theater because it was showing Hamnet the day before these two movies came out. But then but we can't go. Anyways, so then we went to watch these two movies. It didn't have Hamnet. I was like, fine. It left theaters. That's disappointing. Whatever. And then I look, and like the following week, it's back in the theater. I have beef with them because we could have seen Hamnet too
Crazy.
on the screen to potentially cry with other people. Community took it away from us.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Ugh, Marty Supreme. We talked a lot about this before, so I'll keep it brief. But
Yeah.
great directing. I think Timothée Chalamet has found his best role yet. Such a great cast. The directing, the like sense of it of like stress the entire time outside of it being a sports movie. But then I think it goes into those sports scenes, with a great energy as well.
Yeah.
Oh, just so great. So great. Love that
I'm
movie.
interested to see when you inevitably watch Uncut Gems, if you like that one better. Because some people do. I like Marty Supreme better. But I don't know. I maybe want to. Unfortunately, that would not be a good double feature. Unfortunately. But I do want to rewatch them, maybe both within the same week, just to kind of compare them better. Maybe when this is streaming somewhere, maybe I'll do that.
Sure.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, these are our first time watches for January. Please let us know what are some of your favorite first time watches. Alrighty. And our last of this row of ranking is shows that we watched. Oh.
Well, okay. I'll start out
Go ahead
this
and get us started
time.
out.
Even though we're still racing and stuff. It's okay. I watched and finished 17 shows this month. At least season wise. I do break them up by seasons. So that is a difference there. We are currently watching together Trader Season 4, The Pit Season 2, Abbott Elementary Season 5, The Vampire Diaries Season 3, A Night of the Seven Kingdoms, and Bridgerton Season 4. But we haven't finished those because those are just not finished in general. Well, Vampire Diaries is. We're almost done with that one. Anyways, the others are still ongoing. And then we finished Wonder Man, but you said since we watched that in February, you wanted to include it next month. So, and we might find time to do an entire video on that maybe. I don't know. We'll see. It was really good, so I do want to talk about it, even if that's, next month. So we've watched it. We'll talk about it at some point in time. But that's not going to be on either of our lists, just so people are aware, since that did release. Don't think we're leaving it out. It was really good. I promise you, it is going to be in our top 10s of next month. I promise you that. So, okay. I want to quickly go through the ones that I'm not writing down.
Okay.
So my bottom one is Finding Her Edge. It's an ice skating show. Unfortunately, they're capitalizing on heated rivalry success of like that kind of world of hockey and ice skating. And unfortunately, I fell for it. The acting is really bad. Well, some of the acting's really bad. Some of the acting's mediocre. I don't really care at all who she ends up with. It's another love triangle. I'm kind of over love triangles. If it's not good. Anyways, I don't really care who she ends up with. There is gonna be a season 2. I don't know if I'm gonna watch that. We'll see how people talk about season 2. If it's better than season 1, maybe. But there's other ice skating shows out there that I want to watch that people are saying is better than this. So, stay tuned. And then, yeah. Oh, then they have stunt doubles for their ice skating scenes, and woo, they do not do a good job hiding those stunt doubles at all. Sometimes they do like really high up shots, and that's fine because you have no idea. But then they do like close ups, and I'm like, you're doing a close up when it's a stunt double? It's so bad. It's embarrassing. It's really bad. And people have been pointing that out, how bad the stunt doubles are. And then everyone keeps saying that the main actress looks like Jennifer Lawrence, Katniss Everdeen. Yeah, do I have the right? J-La? Anyways, and unfortunately that makes me compare her and Jennifer Lawrence's acting abilities, and it's not even close. Unfortunately for her. I guess they have decent chemistry. I don't know. I don't really care. Anyways, let me move on. Then I watched Seven Dials. 3 episodes. What are we doing here, people? Netflix, quit playing games. Why are we making 3-episode TV shows? That's not a TV show. That's a movie. And it's bad. It had King George from the Queen Charlotte show, so I was excited. He's not in it very long. None of the characters that I liked are really in it long.
I feel like
there's too many characters.
Jumping in, this is like not in my top 10.
You watched it?
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Yeah. I feel like there needs to be a term for when there's an actor who's so big and is so in the background, but like clearly plays such a big role in the story that like the twist is obvious because they're such a big name and aren't being used.
Yes.
It feels like there needs to be a term for that.
I know exactly what you're saying. It's like you don't get an actor like this if you're gonna waste them.
They can't be just doing what you're trying to say that they're doing.
No.
And like
you're not gonna pay for that. Well, maybe Netflix will, but anyways. No, I do also fear is obvious. I was bored. I didn't care about the mystery. I don't care what's happening. I didn't care about who died. I didn't care who did it. The one actress I liked wasn't in it very long. The 2 actors I liked weren't in it for very long. And I just don't care. But luckily it was a quick watch because it was short. So that's like the one plus about it. Yeah. Then I have Fallout Season 2. It's not my favorite. I didn't play the game, which is fine because apparently it's not really super similar to the game anyways. The first season wasn't all my favorite, but it still had some decent parts. I feel like this one I was mostly just really bored. It's just not for me. But Cole really likes it. And I love Cole, so I'm going to watch it. I'll watch season 3 if they make it season 3. I don't care. I'll watch it as long as it goes on because I know he's going to watch it. So, sacrifices. It's okay. He's watching Vampire Diaries for me, so it's even. And that's a much longer show, so. Then I have Ponies. Did you ever get around to that?
I haven't yet. I heard people really liked it.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I thought everyone was hyping up the 2 main characters were going to get together, and then they didn't. So then I was disappointed. One of them does get with a girl. but I thought they were gonna get together, and I love those two actresses, so I was excited for that. So then imagine my disappointment when they don't. So sorry for the spoilers, but don't go into it with those expectations.
Okay.
So, I thought they did a good job, but I feel like I don't know. I feel like I didn't really care what they were doing in that show.
Interesting.
In my opinion, I'm so sorry. I know I'm the odd one out on that though, so don't go into it expecting that. Like, obviously, plenty of people really, really like it, and I'm the odd one out on that. So, oh well. Then I have The Traitor season 2. It was okay. I don't want to talk about it a whole lot. We'll talk about Traitor season 4. We'll talk about that later. We'll have a conversation later. Then I have the Eras Tour documentary. This was in my top 10 for a while. I feel like half of the show, which it's not very long either, but it's, like a docu-series or whatever. Half of it, I was like, this is okay. And then they have like a costuming-focused episode, which I love because I'm a theater person. I love costumes, so I loved that. And then they had, I think it was the last episode, they had an entire scene where she was mashing up The Best Day and Never Grow Up, I believe. I cried. I was like, I can't. And her family was there because in the song, she talks about her mom, dad, and brother. And then they were there, and I was like, stop. I can't right now. I was crying so much from that. So some of the docuseries is really good, and it's very cute. But then other parts of it, I don't know. It's like maybe if it came out sooner, it's been a long time since the Eras Tour, so I was a little like, it's kind of late for this to come out, I guess, but whatever. I understand it was a very big tour, and you want to, profit off of that, so I totally understand that from a business perspective, and also, like, it's probably a high in your life, too, so just emotion-wise, you might want to keep reliving that, and it was pretty solid. It just wasn't quite as good as I wasn't focusing on the things that I sometimes thought it would focus on. Some of the stories were good though. They would focus on like some of the dancers, and those are really good stories. So parts of each there was something to like in each episode for sure. So, anyways. And then The Vampire Diaries season 1, it was okay. It was a mediocre start to probably overall a mediocre show. I really like the season we're on and next season, so we'll see. I feel like that's the high of the show. But I feel like most people that have watched that and the originals would agree that the originals is the better show. So I'm excited to get to that. I like the Vampire Diaries, even though 7 and 8 are kind of a bad ending. But at least they're shorter seasons. The originals is really good. Until they tell towards the end again when they try to turn it around just to basically set up a different show, then it's no longer the show that you've been watching.
Does that show get made?
Yeah. Legacies is the third one. Don't look that up because there's a big spoiler about the entire concept of that show. You need to not know what that show's about.
Okay.
Basically. I will let you know when you can. Somewhat soon you can know what that show's about. Anyways. Yeah. First one's okay. Now, top 10. So sorry, that was a lot longer than I thought it would be. Is Stranger Things season 5. We did many videos on that, so I'm not really going to talk about that. It was okay. I don't think it was as bad overall as people are saying, but I also don't think it's super good. I think it's okay. I think it's better than season 2, but worse than all the other seasons. So it was an okay ending to an overall really good show. That's what I'll say about that. Anyways.
At my number 10, I have season 1 of the Copenhagen Test. I really like the cast. I borderline love the cast. Even those I'm not super familiar with, I think they play their characters really well. And I think the pitch of the show of like an agent getting his brain hacked by an enemy organization is a great pitch. And when they're focusing on that, I really like the show. I think it starts really strong, and I think it ends really strong. They kind of yada yada some spy stuff in there in the middle that I'm kind of like, okay, this feels kind of like it could be any other spy show. So they lose me quite a bit in the middle. But overall, I enjoyed this show.
And we're always happy for Melissa Barrera to
Melissa
get work,
Barrera and
because she
Simu
deserves
Liu.
it. Yeah.
I think those are
What a
two
great duo.
actors that I think they deserve each other in a lot of ways, because
Yeah.
I think they both have such a fun energy
Mm-hmm.
in their little pockets that they find themselves in, and I love to see them lifting each other up.
Yeah. Because I feel like obviously Melissa Barrera's been done dirty by like just Hollywood, but she's so talented that I'm glad that anywhere she continues to get work, I would love if she got Wonder Woman. That'd be great exposure for her. I feel like at that point she'd be at a level that you can't ignore her anymore. That's kind of one of the. I think she would genuinely deserve it, but I also would love for her to be in a position where like they can't really,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah.
Then Simu Liu, I don't know if I'm missing something. As far as I'm aware, a lot of people don't like him just because they find him annoying, and I think that's kind of stupid. Um, I think he's funny, and I think he, from what I've seen, tends to be really nice. Like, he defends Melissa Barrera a lot and hypes her up, and I appreciate that. So, to me, that seems like he's a good guy. I don't know if I'm missing something. I don't know. I just think he's fun. I don't think he's annoying.
I think Simu's awesome.
Yeah. And I'm so
I think
excited
he's
to
just
see him in other
constantly trying
places.
to shout out that, Asian representation matters, and is, liberal leaning as Hollywood tries to be, you'll find that Asian representation is decreasing at a very high rate. And I think, go off, King, shout that out.
And if him saying that annoys you, then maybe look inside yourself a little bit. So, anyway.
Yeah. All right, you're number 9.
My number 9 is Has Been Hotel season 2. I really liked season 1. I feel like season 2, I don't know. I feel like the first season was just such a fun setup, and I loved the characters. So I loved that was a majority of the focus, was setting up those characters and their dynamics, their backgrounds, their traumas, their relationships. Like, I just loved that it focused on them. And then this season, I feel like it has a completely new focus. And I still think it was well done. I still love the animation style, the character designs, the world designs. I think it's so unique. And it's just another one of those I'm really happy exists and has a good platform. But it just wasn't, in my opinion, as good as the first season. It's still in my top 10 out of a lot of shows. So that's still pretty good. Yeah, and if nothing else, it's a quick watch. So I would always say give it a try. Very quick watch if you are not into it. Just watch the first season, give it a try. If you're not into the first season, you're not going to be into the show. I think. But it's short enough. Give it a try. I think a lot of people will like it. So, yeah.
At my number 9, I have His and Hers. A quick little Netflix, what is it? Not legacy.
Limited series?
Limited series.
Yeah.
It stars John Bernthal and Tessa Thompson. Great actor and actress. It's like a murder mystery. I enjoy most of it. Towards the end, it becomes kind of very obvious, and then there's a very obvious twist towards the end that it's like setting up too strongly that it's obvious, and then there's a very big twist at the end that I think works. I don't know. I just kind of end up zoning out through quite a bit of it for whatever reason. And then the twist kind of makes some of the stuff that happens feel very like, would this have happened? Yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's structured a little weirdly. But the acting I think is strong enough to kind of get through most of it. It's not perfect, but it's there, and it's something to watch early on in January.
Yeah, that's gonna be on my list too, so I'll talk about that when I get to it. The next I have The Vampire Diaries season 2. This is actually better than I remember it being. I feel like I remember the first 2 seasons not being all that great, but I actually enjoyed season 2 overall. And I really like Elijah. He comes in, he's one of the original vampires. He's very interesting. I wish he was in it more. I think Klaus in this season, another original vampire, is overall just really annoying. I will say I like him in season 3, and I know you don't. But I think season 2, it's so valid to not like him. He's a like purely a bad guy in this season because he comes in so late and really only serves the purpose of being a bad guy and sacrificing people we don't want him to sacrifice. And I unfortunately hate when he's in another character's body. I don't want to spoil it, even though it's been out.
You know what it kind of reminds me of?
Like,
I'm gonna jump in just because, spoiler alert, Vampire Diaries is not on this list at all. But it kind of reminds me of the first season of Luke Cage, where it starts out with one villain who has like a very interesting and unique aura for Marvel, and then literally halfway through the season, he gets replaced with like Vengeance Gospel guy, and then the show derails from there. Like that's what Klaus coming in the middle of the season kind of feels for me.
It's very like, I feel like most of the Vampire Diaries seasons kind of has like almost like a Once Upon a Time structure, where it has basically like 2 big arcs within the season, like halfway through, which is fine. I maybe that was popular back then. I mean, clearly this is 2 shows already that have done that. But yeah, you inevitably compare the 2. So I think that is just a risk that's there, and that sometimes doesn't pay off. So, but I do love the originals overall. So it's just, it gets better when other originals are involved in season 3. I think it's more fun when they're together. It breaks up a little bit of personalities. So, yeah.
Sure. At my number 8, I have The Traitor season 4. We're obviously still in the middle of this, and this was my rating of it at the end of January.
I won't have any of the ones we're watching on this list.
That's fair. But this is basically just a stagnant list from the last day of January when we watched things. This, I believe, was the time when Michael was still on the show, and I think he is just one of the most obnoxious people I've ever seen on my screen.
They would agree with you. The cast of The Traitors would agree with you.
So, as much as I love the aesthetic of the show, and I like most of the cast a fairly good amount, and especially, like, I think the Traitors are really good, like, especially early on. I think they were killing it.
Yeah.
The games were fun, but every time everyone sat down as a group, I wanted to, like, scratch my ears out. So
bad.
Like, what a great season of television this would be if it weren't for, like, 1 or 2 people constantly when they're all sitting together.
There was one season, I forget which one it was. I want to say it was 2, but it might have been 1. Anyways, where I don't even remember his name, which I don't care to because he's not a nice person. But he, oh gosh, I'm forgetting all of their names. But there's this guy who was on, I think, the Vanderbilt movie, I don't know, whatever the show's called. Vanderpump Rules? Yeah. Oh, Arnomatics. It's the guy who was with Arnomatics for like 10 years. They were like, I don't know too much about it, but I think they were like married. They were together for 10 years. That's, whether you're married or not, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And then she had found out that he had been cheating on her with her best friend for like most of that time, I think. Like most of that. That's crazy. Obviously, she was pissed. Obviously. She would like low-key be valid in like murdering him. Like, I'm like, at that point, I'm like, so you can be as crazy as you want to be, because that is so valid. That's crazy. He's like stealing 10 years of her life, basically. Anyways, so he's a piece of crap. He goes on the show. Nobody likes him, of course. He at the round table slips up. I don't think he slips up. I think he regretted saying this because it made people mad. He slips up and says like, well, girls are more likely to be cheaters than guys, and everyone's like, oh my god, they're freaking out. Like, you're not the one to say that. And he's like, no, I meant lie. And they're like, no, shut your mouth right now. Anyways, and then they vote him out later. I think that's the only other time where someone has just been so incredibly unlikable that's the sole reason they're voted off. Not because people think they're a traitor. They don't care at that point. They just hate you so much that they vote you off. And I love that they did that with Michael.
Yeah, I mean, so truly, beyond even just liking him or not, he just drains the conversation
Yeah, he's not
and
helpful.
completely derails it every time he opened his mouth. So either
for
way,
sure.
it was a strategic vote out, regardless if he was a traitor or not.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. Your number 7?
Yes, I have the girlfriend.
No way! I also have the girlfriend at number 7.
Yeah. Um, this is pretty good. I'm excited to see Olivia Cook somewhere else. She doesn't pop up very often.
I love Olivia Cook so
Yeah.
much.
I started watching Slow Horses for her, and then imagine my surprise when she's in 3 episodes, and that's it. I stopped watching that show. Anyways, she's in this entire show, and she's great. I think the 3 main leads are really good in the show. So I'm excited he's getting some recognition. You know, I don't think it's perfect. I find it a little bit infuriating. Not so little dramatic, irritating that the show seems to take the stance that both people are crazy, the girlfriend and the mom.
At least
like,
equally.
like
I think
equally,
it's equally crazy is what drives me crazy. Because obviously, I don't even remember their names because it's been a hot second. But
Cherry, I know, is the first
Cherry,
one.
like obviously she has a bit of a crazy invention streak, but like
Sure.
it doesn't do the work to prove that her vengeance is unjustified. And matter of fact, anything that we have seen her do that's crazy feels incredibly justified
Yeah.
in the show.
And then, you know, they try to make it seem like she's psycho because of stuff she did to her ex-boyfriend, but it's the ex-boyfriend who's the only person that's saying she did that stuff. That's not enough information for me to be like, yeah, she
and
did
it's
that.
showing that he's a creep who's going to follow her to her workplace.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't believe anything that comes out of your mouth, and it seemed, and even just based off your personality, perhaps it was valid, whatever she did. So,
And there's cases
I
like
don't
that a
know.
lot. Like they talk about some stuff that might have happened with her father that,
Yeah.
you know, we don't ever see any of it. Yeah.
I don't know, man.
The craziest thing that I can't get behind is like she throws the cat out of the house at one point. But it's just like if that's the worst thing that this person has done and like what the stuff that the mom goes through, like not goes through but does. Oh my gosh.
Once the mom lied about her son being dead, like you lost that battle. Like you won that battle or whatever. You are the more evil person here, like absolutely, by far, and you will never be beaten that.
So crazy. And then the show at the very end tries to be like, "Oh my god, they're both like equally crazy or whatever. One's worse than the other." And it's like, "No. Unfortunately, halfway through your show, you
I don't
have
think
proven
so.
there's not an argument here."
No.
Oh my gosh.
Crazy.
So the acting is great and I think the first half of it is so good. And then I fear fumbles at the end.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Alright, you're number 6.
Oh gosh, I didn't write it down because we have the same one. But you already said it. It was his and hers. You know, I wonder if this is good enough to be in the Emmys conversation come summer or whatever, September, whenever it comes out. I don't know. I don't think this is not a front runner. I could tell you that. I like just off the bat, this should not be a front runner. I think All Her Fault should be a front runner in terms of limited series, but I wouldn't be surprised if at least Tessa Thompson got an actress nom.
What a great actress. I love Tessa Thompson.
Again, she's not gonna win against Sarah Snook, and she shouldn't because you know Tessa Thompson's great, but you need to watch All Her Fault. Sarah Snook is like,
I love Sarah Snook.
I don't know. I feel like I wouldn't be upset about Tessa. I just like her too much. And Sarah Snook has won Emmys before. I wouldn't be mad if Tessa Thompson won. I think she's great and deserves recognition. But solely based off the 2 performances alone, I do think Sarah Snook did a better job. But anyway, she also had a couple more episodes to work with. And it's hard when Tessa Thompson's big thing, she doesn't even remember for most of the show. She blocks it out because of drama. So it's like it's hard to work with that. But I still think she does a great job. I think John Berthenol has his moments, obviously. I think he's done better work, but he's fine here. I don't expect he would get a nom, but maybe if it's a slow year for a limited series, I don't know. Um, yeah, I think this is a solid limited series. Could have been better. I think the ending was obviously a gag, but then it does raise some questions. So it's
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
At my number 6, and I don't think this is on your list because it's not done, but I have Abbott Elementary season 5. The release was very bizarre. I think December through January, so I think we only maybe had 2 episodes here. And I think that was mall episodes. Which I think are
And then
pros
the
and
big-
cons to them.
Oh well, then you probably didn't include Picture Day because that was February.
Correct.
I love that episode.
So even though I love Abbott Elementary, its release schedule be pissing me off. And I so truly am happy that we're finally back to the school.
Thank God. The mall was fun, but yeah.
I think it was dangerously close to overstaying its welcome.
Yeah, I agree. And then, the cast would agree too. They were like, we were done. We were ready to come back. My next one, yeah, that one's not going to be on my list either, because, anyways. My next one, number 5, is The Legend of Vox Machina, Season 1. I watched that because I really liked the Mighty Nine show. Definitely more than you and Cole did. I really liked it. I just love the character design. I love reading fantasy, so it's no surprise that I loved this kind of show. This is a prequel show about a totally different group, and they're also very fun. It's hard for me I'm really bad with names, so I don't remember any of their names. There's one guy that reminds me of Korg from in the MCU.
Mhm.
He's like exactly like Korg, basically. And then there's this girl who's connected to like a god, and she has like light and healing powers, and that's really cool. There's a character that's highly connected to earth and the elements, and that's really cool. There's a guy who's, I don't know, he reminds me of somebody, but I don't know who it is. Somebody with like shadow powers or something. I don't know. He's like a dark, brooding character, and I like him a lot. There's brother and sister that remind me of like Cloak and Dagger a lot. They have like a dynamic which I don't know a lot about Cloak and Dagger, but I feel like they have a very fun dynamic with different weapons too. Like it's some similarities there, and I really like Cloak and Dagger, the little that I know about them.
You should watch their show.
and
I feel
then-
like you'd really
yeah.
love their show.
Yeah, and then there's a guy who has powers through music, and that's really cool. Yeah,
A bard.
it's a very fun group. So yeah, I like it so far. I've been watching it when I don't have anything else to watch, but I do have a lot to watch right now, so it might be a hot sec till I watch the other season.
Same.
But a new season should be coming out this year, I've heard. So
Oh, we'll have to catch up.
Yeah.
I know Cole would love to get through that, and I
Yes.
am also very interested too.
yeah.
My number 5, I have Percy Jackson and the Olympians season 2. This is finally wrapped up. I will say it definitely picks up. I know I wasn't a huge fan of it. I would say very early on. I think it leads in a little rough for me. I think it's very like 5 seconds of being in Manhattan, and then it's like ha ha ha. And then as soon as they get on the quest, I think it picks up at
Yeah.
like the perfect pace.
I agree.
I love like you get to meet Cersei.
Mhm.
You get to see some of the monsters. I think the actor for Polyphemus, Polyphemus and the island, I think is great. I think the actors are all doing great work again. I don't think the acting was ever the issue
Tyson.
with it. Tyson, I think, is so fun. I think they fell into that dynamic really well.
Thalia and the flashbacks are really
I'm
cool.
very curious to see how Thalia unravels.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I'm very excited. I unfortunately stand by the beginning is a little rough for me. But I am so happy of where we ended up. So I'm very excited still going into a season 3.
Yeah. My number 4 is the Copenhagen test. I definitely liked this more than you, but that's okay. Yeah, I love Simu Liu. I think he does some great work here, and he's just like a star material. So I'm glad that he got Shang-Chi, he got this, and I'm excited for him in the upcoming Avengers movies and whatever else he ends up being in.
God, I
So-
need a Shang-Chi 2 at some point. I understand you're directing Brand New Day right now, Destin Daniel Cretton, but like the people need another one.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm just excited for him wherever he goes. So, and of course Melissa Barrera. So, love you, Queen. Hope you get Wonder Woman or something else big. I don't really care, because she's also a really good singer. So maybe another musical. I don't know. You could do some
I'd love to
Broadway
see her in another
stuff. Like
musical.
you've got opportunities, and I hope you continue to have them. Yeah. Anyways.
My number 4, which I think arguably could go a little lower, but at the end of January, this is what I put. I have Stranger Things season 5.
Ooh.
I don't know. I love truly understanding what the Upside Down is. I think it's like the last 30 minutes is like the perfect conclusion for this show, even if I think the action finale has a lot of notes to be added. But I ultimately like everything that happened. Stranger Things was a very late journey for me, but such a fun one. And I love that it ultimately hasn't overstayed its welcome, and it's closed itself out pretty clean for a show.
Well, except now they're coming out with that animated prequel show.
That's fine. Vampire Diaries got 2 spin-offs that we still have to go through and didn't clean up properly. I think any show this big that can clean up as well as it did,
I think it would have been really funny if they released, like, if they announced that show is coming out, the prequel one, on the day that people thought they were having the real finale. No, it's giving me flashbacks to, which I didn't live this in real time, but what people were saying about the Game of Thrones, final season really, but finale for sure. I think that's a bad comparison, because I don't think Stranger Things finale was that bad.
Oh, no.
No, like, obviously Game of Thrones is way worse, but it was kind of funny. I'm like, guys, they don't do that in Hollywood. If they didn't do it for Game of Thrones, they're not doing it here. I can tell you that right now. You know how long it took to make a finale? Why would they have another finale in their back pocket? That's just y'all are dumb. I'm sorry. I can't even sugarcoat it. Anyways, number 3 is Percy Jackson season 2. I love Percy Jackson. I read the books sometime in middle school, I think. Reread them in college, and then reread them a couple years ago. I'd only read the main series until my 3rd reread a couple years ago, or whatever. 2nd reread, I don't know. And then I read the 2 other, like, Heroes of Olympus and then the Trials of Apollo 5 books series, both of those, and then Sun and the Star, and then Rick Riordan came out with 2 other ones focused on Percy Jackson. It was like he has 3 different trials to do. I forgot. One of them was like Wrath of the Triple Goddess. One of them was, I don't remember. There's 2 out of 3. I don't know if there's a 3rd. I haven't read it yet. If there's a 2nd of the Sun and the Star book, I haven't read that. Anyways, I read a lot more a couple years ago. I love this entire series, and it reminds me of how much I used to love Harry Potter, and I still do, but obviously with the author, it puts a dampen. It makes me not really want to rewatch it. I do own the DVDs somewhere, so that helps. It's not like I'm streaming it and giving money that way. But it still puts a dampen on it. It makes me not want to rewatch it. But the author of Percy Jackson seems to be a really good person, so I can enjoy it to its fullest potential. So maybe I'm rating this higher than perhaps Sea of Monsters deserves, but I feel like the fact that it's considered the worst book, but I still really liked this season is it makes me rate it higher.
Sure.
I guess it's
That is impressive.
really good job making this entertaining.
I mean, the best adaptation expands on what's given. So,
and I'm so excited for season 3 that's hopefully coming out in December.
I will say, great for Disney Plus that they have a show like this that can constantly be like annual.
Yeah.
That's
Very
the
excited.
best thing.
Renew seasons 4 and 5 soon.
Or else Alicia
Yeah.
will come to your door.
No, I will, because you better be giving us Heroes of Olympus too. That's what I'm gonna say. Trials of Apollo, I could live without. Heroes of Olympus, I need. I need to see it. Like, ugh. Anyways.
At my number 3, I have Supernatural season 1. I am still slowly making my way through that when I have
Such
time.
a good show.
Season 1 is such a fun time.
Mm-hmm.
Some really fun episodes. They do some really cool things with mythos. Clearly there's a budget, but I think they do great to get around it. I love the mystery element every week. I'm a sucker for mystery, man, and supernatural. So
It's giving
this is right
adult
there.
Scooby-Doo.
Well, yeah, until the episode where they go into Scooby-Doo.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my gosh.
You're like, no, that's not supposed to happen.
Get away from it.
Next I have All Her Fault. This is the limited series I was talking about earlier. You need to watch it. You would love
Very
it.
high.
It's so good. It's I can't remember the last time I was hooked, movie or show, as early as I was. Like within the first 5 minutes.
Damn.
It's this lady. It starts with this lady, and this is not a spoiler because this is like just what the show's about. It starts with Sarah Snook going to this lady's house, say, "Hi, I'm here to pick up my son Jacob." I think that's her name or his name, whatever. And she's like, "Huh?" And she's like, "My son Jacob, he was dropped off here. Da-da-da. He's not dropped off there." She's like, "Okay, panic mode, mom, panic mode." They work together, and they figure out that he was not picked up by the person who was supposed to pick him up because that person didn't even know she was supposed to pick him up. She's like, "I have text messages right here. Let me call you." And it says the number doesn't exist anymore. And she's like, "I don't have text. Like, that's not my number." She reads that. I don't even know. So it's immediately like, oh my God.
Oh.
No, actually, it's like, oh my God. And it just expands from there. It has, her husband is that asshole guy from season 1 of White Lotus. The one whose suitcase gets shit in. And he's shitty in the show, so it works. It's like he's typecast and he works here. So, no, Dakota Fanning is in this. She's great. I hope she pulls a supporting nom as well, because I think she should. But obviously, Snare Snook she already won. I think like the Critics' Choice, maybe Golden Globe. I don't know. She
one
won
of them.
something, for the show already. So this is gonna be at the Emmys.
That's awesome.
And it should be. It's so good. That's within the first 5-10 minutes. I'm like, oh my God. Ugh, it's great.
Oh, that's rising up my watch list.
Yeah.
At number 2, I have The Pit season 2. I think it starts out so well. Introducing a couple of new characters. I think, yeah, there's like 3 new characters that they're added. I think they're all they're adding to the dynamics of the show really well. The cases so far are very interesting. Some more mystery on what's going on, but make it medical instead of paranormal. I love the cast so much. I think the directing and the writing is all super strong. I think similar to the first season, the only notes we have so far is they pick some kind of weird places to end the episodes. And I think that's happened like maybe once or twice.
Yeah, not a
so
whole
far.
lot, but
And if that's the only note that I can give to your show, you're killing it. So,
yeah.
gosh, I love the show. I love seeing everyone back again. And no, I'll talk about it later. But yeah, I love The Pit so much.
That's not gonna be on my list either because my number 1 is Pluribus, which is probably your number 1.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so good. It's nearly a masterpiece. I think, when the hive mind leaves Carol, they are gone for just the right amount of time. I actually really wish I would have watched that weekly because I think that withdrawal of 3 weeks of having to sit that long, like Carol had to sit longer than that, I think. But anyway, it was you would have felt it more, I think. But it still worked really well. They were gone for just the right amount of time. I think Carol is not a perfect character, but I think that makes her all the more interesting.
I mean, the perfect character in a show is the imperfect one. I think she's
Yeah.
such a great character study. I think it's so great for a show that's this bold and creative to highlight such a flawed and such a great queer character. I think that's something that's so important, but like not super like it. The show doesn't go out of its way to highlight that.
Yeah.
I
like,
think that's like the perfect balance for her.
I love how people are pointing out the subtle notes of that, where early on when they're saying, you know, we will find what's wrong with you and figure out how to fix it, and why she's so terrified of that, and just in general why she's so terrified of them changing her. I think it's just subtle enough, but it's definitely still there. It's not like, you know, people's headcanons or whatever. It's definitely purposeful. So I think it's done really well. I think they explore just the hive mind in general really well, the flaws of it, but also that, like, the beauty of it, the strength of it, the community of it. So it makes you flawed too. It's like yeah, they're not evil, but they are forcing this on her, and that's not okay. But it's also weird because they won't even hurt a fly. They won't even pick an apple. So it's like, it's a weird moral system they have.
It's so bizarre, but it's so fascinating to kind of uncover and learn.
Yeah.
I think all of the performances of the entity is so cool. Like having so many actors and so many extras in to play this one character through themselves, I think it is so awesome.
And then what's her name?
Zaisha?
Zaisha.
Or something
Zosha.
yeah.
Oh, she should be getting
That
more
actress
recognition
is
too.
amazing.
I hope she pulls a nom at the Emmys, because I'm a little disappointed she hasn't pulled through anywhere else. But maybe next year when it's a little. Well, no, it's gotta be. It's just the Emmys at this
And
point.
then I'm also hoping that whenever guest star categories for these shows at the Emmys, the one actor who just won for
Yes.
anytime, anywhere,
I don't know,
Somebody
one of
Somewhere?
those. Yeah,
Somebody
yeah.
Somewhere.
That
He
one
has a special. He comes in for one episode to
So
just kind of
good.
be in conversation with Carol as the entity, and he does such a great job.
The scene where he's talking about how Helen really thought about her books.
Yes.
Very good.
Great.
I love the scene when she says she wants her grocery store stocked.
I want my sprouts.
Oh my god, that was such a satisfying scene. I'm like,
The
oh,
show is so cool because it just kind of I can't help but like think about what I would do in that situation, and like we've had conversations of like, so if everyone on planet Earth was like willing to like accommodate you to make you happy, what do you do with your life then? And I think the situation that Carol finds herself in is like such a tragedy, because unlike all of the other survivors, like she just has this major loss on top of everything else. So, you know, on top of the things that are already really scary, like she can't, there's like a barrier to enjoying everything because she's going through such a massive loss.
crazy.
I adore this show. I cannot wait to watch the next season weekly. This is their biggest show so far. And I think it so shows. It's made by the same person who does Breaking Bad. I think you can kind of feel that.
Yeah.
With I think how well written the scripts are.
Because she was in Better Call Saul, and
Yes.
everyone was saying she was really good and very, very underrated. And I don't think ever even got nominated for an Emmy. And people are saying she deserves to win an Emmy. I'll watch that show someday because I did see Breaking Bad. So if nothing else, I'll watch it for her because that's a pitch right there.
Yeah, she's.
So
I'm so excited. I think
great.
this show has such a fun place to be in. It's so, like, it's a simple idea, but it's such a great idea, and it's executed so well. I love it so much.
I agree.
And yeah, that is our list of shows we're watching right now. What are you watching, and what are some of your favorite shows you're watching right now? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
So next, we wanted to talk a little bit more on 28 Years Later Bone Temple. How are we looking on time? How fast
We
we
are
have to
at
talk?
2 hours. So
We'll talk
maybe
a little quickly.
yeah.
Um,
It was it was a lot to catch up on though, and now it feels great. It feels like we're back.
So 28 years later, Bone Temple. Do we want to do spoilers or kind of non-spoilery?
Maybe some like light spoilers. We don't have to do like people that die, but I do
Sure.
want to talk about like the shirt skinning scene
Yeah.
a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, maybe a little sensitive. I don't know what they censor on certain platforms, so maybe a little sensitive on that because that is pretty gory. But maybe I'll just mention it. We don't, there's not really much to talk about, anyways. That's crazy. That's crazy. This sometimes, I've seen a lot of horror movies. I've seen a lot of crazy shit happen, and then you see stuff like that, and you're like, I never even considered that's a form of torture. I never considered that was an option. That's terrifying.
For sure.
That's crazy. The amount of like stuff the human body can go through terrifies me. I'm like, please just kill me at that point. Oh my god. Anyways, I can't like that's just, anyways.
Gosh, I think Nia DaCosta kills this film. I think she takes the focus from Spike, and Spike is definitely still in this movie and has his own thing going on.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's. I think it's unfortunate that he's not the main character, but it's hard to argue with where the focus does lie here, which is in Jimmy and Dr. Kellner. Dr. K. We'll call him Dr. K.
Okay.
Just in case I'm saying his name a little wrong. But
and then Samson's like a
Samson.
good supporting character.
Yeah. What a great cast. I love kind of the focus on the things people cling on to get through like such hard times. There's definitely a lot of conversation on religion, and how that can be used to manipulate people, and kind of control power. I think they look at that very interestingly, and through, I think, approaching it through Satanism. I think that.
So I feel like I also forget about that. I feel like this film reminded me, oh yeah, that is a thing that people believe and follow.
Yeah. But I think approaching it through Satanism can kind of highlight on like kind of an outsider, like because Christianity is such a bigger religion, and there's a lot of other religions that are more widely followed than Satanism. But I think it kind of allows people to take a step back and kind of view religion from like an outside perspective and see how it can be used against people, kind of universally, regardless of what it is, specifically.
It makes me think of that conversation they have in Wake Up Dead Man about when they're, God, it's been a while since I've seen that. The character names. Character names.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
What's the guy? Father Judd and Blanc. Benoit Blanc.
Benoit Blanc.
Oh my god, it's been a while since I've thought about that. When they're having a little bit of a a little bit argument, discussion, whatever, about their differences in views about religion just in general. And I love where Judd was saying, like, for me, it's not even necessarily about, like, is it true, is it not, the logic of it all. It's the comfort that it brings to the community that it has, whatever motivates you to get through each day. Obviously, big difference between that and Satanism, but yeah, I just like those interesting discussions. Even if I'm not a big religious person, I'm like, I appreciate the discussions around it. I think it's interesting. So
For sure.
yeah.
I think Kelson and Samson's dynamic throughout this movie is fascinating. Samson's actor, Chai Lewis Perry, I think he acts so well with such eye heavy performance, we'll say. Um, he portrays a lot, even though he's like constantly a drugged, infected.
When he says the word moon, I'm like, I want to cry right now.
Gosh, him and Kelson's dynamic is like, oh my gosh, it's so sweet.
So great. Yeah.
I love being back at the Bone Temple.
Mhm.
Being in the Bone Temple is like one of my favorite parts of 28 Years Later.
Yeah.
So then for that to be such a focus here is awesome. The rock out scene at the end. Oh my gosh,
Mhm.
that's incredible. Jimmy, I love his character. He's so unapologetically evil,
Whew.
but still hilarious.
He's an interesting personality. He's, terrifying. But still, yeah, weirdly comedic at times. I don't know. He has a very interesting dynamic. It's
Gosh,
very
Jack O'Connell plays like sociopathic with charm really well. Like with this and Remick and Sinners, like I think he's able to but like Remick and Jimmy are still such separate characters, but they still have like that similar charm.
yeah.
It's crazy. I think he is so talented.
I want to see him in like a completely opposite role. Like I want to see him in a rom-com or I actually feel like because of Sinners and his outfits there, I feel like he would be really good in a period piece. He has like a look to him.
He has like a young Leo, like in like just looking at Remick, like it feels like he could be, like Jack from
Mhm.
Titanic.
I really like that actually. I'm like, wait, let me think about that. Yeah, I just want to see him in more places. He's great.
Yeah. Erin Kellyman, I think she's had a rough career. She is the
The redhead.
yes.
Yeah.
I think she's done
Falcon and the Winter
really
Soldier.
great work
Captain America.
places that I've seen her, but I think the projects she's been in have
Mhm.
been heavily criticized.
Mhm.
Some of them arguably unfairly, I think can be said.
Yeah.
But I think I loved her work in basically everything she's been in. I think she does a lot of
great
work
in
to really
Bone Temple.
understand the characters.
Mhm.
And I think that portrays really well.
Yeah.
I hope this can kind of flip the script and get her some more running room. But
Plug in my computer. It's about to die. Oh no.
Yeah. So great. I'm very excited to see them in hopefully the third entry. I have no idea what it'll be called, but we're seeing Cillian Murphy come back,
Yay!
which is very exciting. I hope
Dang.
the girl survivor from 28 Days Later can
Me
come back
too.
as well, because I think
Gosh, there's really no reason to do that.
yeah. But I'm very excited to see the conclusion of this trilogy. I think that would be a great stopping point, or at least a pause.
Yeah.
Danny Boyle, who directed the last one but was a producer on this one, I think he has such a great vision for storytelling in this world.
Yeah.
I think there is an argument to come back to it, but I could appreciate a nice breath between the
I
third
agree with
whatever
that.
future entry,
Mhm.
especially with how back to back these ones have been. I think that's so awesome. I applaud him for kind of releasing such strict directorial control and handing it over to someone, to Nia DaCosta, who he trusted to kind of take it and run with it. I will say this is my favorite Nia DaCosta film so far.
Yeah. But I really like Candyman too.
Candyman, I think, is great. I really loved Hedda as well.
Yeah.
I think this after
Mhm.
Hedda is like a great 1-2 punch for her.
I also don't blame her whatsoever for any bad parts of the Marvels. I totally compliment her for all the good parts, because there was a lot of studio interference with that, and they treated her very poorly.
The idea
so.
that Galactus was at any point supposed to be an antagonist in that, I'm like, this must have been such a hodgepodge. And the idea that we got what we got is so impressive.
Yeah. Also, I didn't realize that Danny Boyle also did 28 Days Later. That's kind of crazy.
Yes. I don't know.
Anyway,
I don't know
but
what
we're the
happened.
we're the odd ones out on that, though, I will say. But I'm very aggressive. Like, I'm not even, like, I could see. No, I'm sorry. I wish I saw what people saw. I don't.
It's
Anyways.
yeah. Um, any other ending quick thoughts on? I'm excited for Spike to step up again. I think that actor
Me
is
too.
so talented in the last one.
Okay.
I think he's still talented. He just isn't a huge focus here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna love seeing him again as a focus in another one.
Yeah, I think it's great. So I'm excited.
Indeed. Any other projects we wanted to quickly shout out a little more?
No, because I think we'll do Wonder Man later
Yes.
for sure. Oh, I wanted to shout out. We'll talk about this later. Just shout out Bridgerton season 4.
Mhm.
I think that's starting off really well. It's such an interesting season to me. It feels almost like a different show. I think obviously they're focusing on the couple a lot more, which were criticisms of last season specifically, but also season 2. Um, people wanted more focus on the couple, and I think that's paying off really well here.
Mhm.
You know, not that when I first watched season 3, I remember liking it, but then I thought it had taken a while to get to a point of liking it, but then I rewatched it and I really liked all of it. And people are still hating on season 3, and I'm like, I actually don't agree with that now. I love season 3. I think it's great. It's hard for me to rank them because I feel like season 1 is definitely my least favorite of all of them. But it still has some charm.
Oh, it still has a lot of charm.
Yes. So it's hard for me to rank. Like, I like all of the seasons. And the Queen Charlotte show, obviously. That's, like, my favorite still. But I really like this season so far, too. I think it's got a lot of charm. It's very, obviously, trope-heavy, but also, like, in the way where it's, like, an entire movie's concept kind of trope. More than, people are like, every season has a trope. This one's like Cinderella. This is so aggressively Cinderella. Oh, but it pays off. I think Cinderella is such a great story. And I love seeing the different adaptations of it. There's so many good ones. The Hilary Duff one, the Selena Gomez one.
Oh my
I
god.
don't even know. The live action one that came out a few years ago, the Brandy one, like so many good ones. So
In a similar vein, me and
no.
Cole recently watched The Ugly Stepsister.
I
Oh my
haven't seen that
gosh.
yet. Is it good?
I think it's very good.
Okay.
I don't know if you're ready for it. It's like
Okay.
The Substance meets Bridgerton. It is like the stuff that she does to her body to look beautiful and then it all backfiring at the end is disgusting.
Ugh.
Like you
Yeah,
actually
I don't
might
know.
want to take an L on this one. Like it's worse
Okay.
than I would say Together is.
Ooh, and I didn't even watch that one, so
Yeah.
no, probably not.
But it's
Sorry, guys.
really good.
Body
but
horror
it is
does bother me.
aggressive body horror.
I'm trying to watch The Beauty right now. I'm a couple episodes in, and I'm like, it's like a
Oh,
whole
I need to
show of
watch
body
that.
horror. I'm like,
I love-
ugh. You
I-
did watch that?
I know I need to watch it.
Okay.
I really
I
liked the
started
trailer.
it, yeah. Yeah. Just wanted to shout out Bridgerton. Oh, my other ones. I guess I'll quickly. We have a tiny bit of time. Trader season 4 I have as an 8 out of 10 right now. Actually, a lot of them are 8 out of 10. The Pit season 2, 8 out of 10. Abbott Elementary, 8 out of 10. Night of the Seven Kingdoms, I had it a 5 out of 10, but I really liked.
I feel like
increase
here in
that.
the middle, it's kind of picking up a bit.
Maybe 6 out of 10. I'll say because that means it's watchable.
Mm.
Like I would recommend it. And then it's a short watch anyway, so whatever. And then Bridgerton season 4 I have at an 8 out of 10 right now.
Okay.
So yeah, I really like it. I like that they're exploring a lot of the Bridgertons. I think it would be better if obviously like Daphne was here, if Anthony and Kate were here.
But I will say
Oh.
that the plots that we still are surrounded with are still very strong.
I don't feel like we need them. I just think it would be fun to see them. It'd be a little bit more
And I would say
elevated.
specifically for Daphne, I would say it's weird that we don't see her anymore.
Yeah, I think
At
it,
all.
especially with Hyacinth, I think that would be fun since she's coming to society. Anthony with Gregory, shaving for the first time. That's kind of disappointing that he's not there to share that experience. But that's where I'm like, it would elevate those scenes. But overall in the show, I don't feel like they need to have a storyline going on, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I just wish their presence was here. But I love like Violet Bridgerton, you know, getting her man. I love Lady Danbury wanting to do her own thing now. Queen Charlotte, their dynamic there is very interesting and sad. Francesca's
Francesca trying
finding
to
the
find the
pinnacle.
pinnacle.
You go, Queen. Anyways, and then Penelope and Colin are still fun. I love like the maid war that's going on.
Yes, that's a
Just
very fun
seeing
dynamic.
like the maids and the cooks and all those staff, I think they're very interesting. I'm so glad we're in their space now.
Ryan
It's
the
almost
Footman.
like, can we still have them their space later? Like even though we're not gonna have like a love interest from there. So and then I wish they explained the time jump better. I didn't realize it's supposed to be 2 years. That's crazy.
Oh, I don't
I
think
did not get that impression. I don't think
Can't-
in the show.
I don't think
can
it's
be
2 years in the show because I
No, I
believe
don't
it's
think
the
so.
same season.
That's what I thought. But then I don't know how seasons work. Like, is it literally a season? I don't know. So I don't know how that works. But obviously there's a big time jump there, which is supposed to explain further why he doesn't recognize her. I don't know if they quite did that well. I could tell that there was a time jump, but like that's if it's supposed to be 2 years, I don't think they conveyed that very well. I think they need to clear that up a little bit. But anyway,
What you gonna do?
whatever. I'm excited for part 2. I wish it was a weekly release versus what they're doing, but
What you gonna do?
because I know they're doing it, so you have to subscribe for 2 months. You still have to do that for weekly release. So whatever. Netflix, get over yourself and admit that weekly releases are better. Anyways,
No.
my 2 cents. That's all.
Indeed. Well, I think that is going to wrap up our episode.
Yeah.
This is a bit on the longer side. We apologize,
okay.
but we are back.
Yeah.
We're gonna start doing some of this more regularly, so
Yeah.
these end of the month recaps don't have to be so packed tight.
Yeah. Thanks for staying with us for that. So,
Indeed.
yeah.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning
Mhm.
back in with us. Once again, I'm your host, Luke.
And I'm your host, Alicia.
And thank you so much for watching Not So Straight Nerds.
Bye.